What is up, everybody? It's me45. I am joined by Lauren WKR, our OG Network's own
Hello, hello, hello.
famous woman of the Madden community, and the other
I don't know
games that
about
she does
famous,
play.
but
I mean, you're like the only one. Like maybe
uh,
I think you are the only one in there anymore.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, she is the only Madden woman. I say woman.
There are
So,
tons of other Madden female streamers out there that I absolutely have to shout out that were doing this way, way before me. So absolutely have to give credit where credit is due and do my due diligence and show my respect to all of those female Madden streamers that came before me for sure.
so as of right now, we have I think she does what? Let's see. We have her doing. She does Madden into Assassin's Creed.
Hmm.
But Madden is the go-to for her right now. So Lauren, give us a little bit more about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Well, I am originally from Ohio, and I guess I could kind of start not so much. I guess I don't necessarily have to go all the way to childhood, but I guess I can start sort of in college when I started to be able to make decisions for myself and sort of creating my own path. But I guess I can kind of go with why I even started playing Madden and why I even and got into Madden. So I actually got my undergrad at the University of Cincinnati in Cincinnati, Ohio. And growing up, I did play video games, but I would say maybe not junior high, but pretty much all of high school, I didn't really play any video games at all. I was very social, very into school activities, hanging out with my friends. I ran track in high school. Um, but it wasn't until I would say, it's actually really a funny story. I was at a frat party my sophomore year in college, and was hanging out with these guys, and they were talking about just how awesome 2K4 was. And I'm like, what in the world are you guys talking about? And they were like, "Oh yeah, the football game 2K4. It's really really great. Like the graphics are this, that, and the third." And again, at that time, I wasn't really playing video games, but my sister actually had a PS2, and I was like, well, something to kill time while while I'm studying, or just something else to do, like in my dorm room. I actually borrowed, aka stole, her PlayStation 2, and I went out and I bought a copy of 2K4, and I had a blast with it. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I just really enjoyed the gameplay. I really enjoyed, I mean, too. This is coming from someone that had been out of the gaming, like just gaming in general for quite some time. And it's funny. I think I was playing with the Steelers, and I was just running the ball the entire time. I had no idea what I was doing in terms of, how to play offense really, and how to play defense. I was just essentially having a blast with it. But it wasn't until my junior year of college where I really started to buckle down in terms of, okay, this is my third year in school. What is it that I really want to focus on? And the program that I was in was very broad in that there were multiple things that you could focus on. It was called electronic media. It's kind of like communications, but because it's a little bit more broad, um, you could focus on, broadcasting, you could focus on video editing, journalism, web design. There were various focuses that you could, or various paths that you could go down within that program. And I actually chose the web design, the web development aspect of it. And I really started diving into web development and web design, and my very, very first web project, and I might still have it somewhere in my archives, but because I started to play video games a little bit more, and I was really into, 2K4, and I think 2K5 came out around that time. And I think also, or maybe around that time, it might have been where 2K was just completely out of the picture, and Madden just sort of, I think they ended up having the NFL license, and I think that particular version was the one with Donovan McNabb was the one that I really started to play uh, heavily. I think that was '06, something like that. But I was like, holy crap, I really like playing, Madden, and I really like, learning the game of football because as I was playing, I would watch, football on Sundays and be like, wow, maybe they should, kind of do this defensively, or maybe they should kind of do that offensively. And sure enough, they would actually do that. So my love for, the NFL, as well as my love for web design and web development, I wanted to merge the two as a career. And I was fortunate to do that. My very, very first stinking job out of college, let's see, I graduated in '07 in August with my bachelor's degree in fine arts, focus of electronic media. That December, I was fortunate enough to get an interview with the Dallas Cowboys. I flew down to Dallas and had an interview with their web director, and the interview went really well. The interview went really well, and probably like not even a week later of me flying back home, I was offered the job. So, boom, 22, 23 years old, packing up all of my stuff, moving straight down to Dallas, and that was it was with that being my first job out of college, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot just in terms of how the workplace really is, how the NFL really is. Um, how to basically I had to grow up very fast. I mean, I was on my own, living by myself, and just trying to do the best that I could as a single, African American female, living on my own, working in the NFL. And unfortunately, my time did get cut short. I was there for about a year and 8 months, and being just completely transparent, the skill sets that were needed for that job. In fact, I don't even think I said what the job was. It was like an entry level web developer position. Um, this my skill sets just they weren't there. They weren't there, and I think the expectations that they had for that job and me within that job, they just didn't mesh. They just didn't go together. So I actually was laid off on my mother's birthday, April 27th of 2009, and it was devastating. Looking back, I was really it was a mix. It was like I kind of felt like something was coming. And then when it did come, it was devastating, but at the same time, it was almost like a weight lifted off my shoulder. But it was an eye-opening experience, and I when I lost my job, I actually came back home to Ohio, and I knew that this was still something that I wanted to pursue. Like this was still an industry that I wanted to work in, and I looked at all the flaws that I had, and I just said, I want to get better. I want to get better. And I started freelancing literally for free. I didn't charge anything for the web design work that I was doing. My sister was an all-star cheerleader at a gym. I offered to make a website for them and do some web things for them. And I did that for free. I think they gave me like a $50 gift certificate to Target just to say, hey, thank you for all the work that you've done for us up to this point. And so yeah, like I just it was probably about a good year and a half before I was able to get something full time again. I was a web designer at a nonprofit food bank in Cincinnati, Ohio, called the Free Store Food Bank. And all the while, like I knew in the back of my head, like I wanted to work in the NFL, and I really wanted to take that experience to grow, to learn, and I feel like I did that. I had quite a few web projects that really just motivated me to design and develop as best as I could. So it was probably about I want to say oh gosh, 2012. Yeah, but it was 2012. There was a digital coordinator position that was open in with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I applied for that job, and I had a phone interview that went really really well. And they said that we want you to come and interview with us, and so I actually my dad and we got in the car, we drove to Philadelphia, we stayed overnight, and I interviewed the next day, and I thought the interview went really well. I thought it went really well, and that evening, or I think it was the next day, my dad and I came home, and unfortunately I did not get that position, and rightfully so. I think the young lady that they ended up hiring, I think ended up she had like her master's in like digital design or something like that. Like she was just very, very qualified, a little bit more qualified than I was for that position. But it wasn't until shortly after I saw that there was an opening with the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, for a similar position. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep going and see if I can become part of an NFL franchise again. And I had a phone screening with who would be my then manager, and I came in, did the job interview. I think I don't know if they still do this now, but they kind of like throw a project at you just so that they can see where your skill sets are, and they create sort of a scenario for you and say, hey, we've got this email newsletter going out, create, an HTML template of us promoting tickets, and we're trying to get to the playoffs, and just sort of create some content around that. And I did that, and um I think I still have that somewhere, but they liked it, and sure enough, I was offered the position, and started working for the Cleveland Browns June of 2012. And that was an interesting time. That was definitely an interesting time because right about the time that I got hired on, Randy Lerner was selling the team. He sold the team to the Haslams, and that transaction took place, I want to say, towards the end of 2012, going into 2013. So there was just a lot of internal infrastructure that was like literally changing on the fly. And going into the summer, my director, who oversaw everything, that oversaw all the digital aspects of things, ended up quitting. Like right in the middle of training camp, my manager said, "You know what? I've seen this story before. I know what happens when new leadership comes in. They want to bring in their own people, blah blah blah. Like I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this." So I took that as an opportunity. I said, my director quit, my manager quit. Granted, I was working with several video coordinators who were primarily responsible for shooting and creating different video content for the website. I was working on the website. Anything from design, from social media to development. Like I pretty much was the person. I pretty much was the girl from 2013 going into 2014. I literally literally worked my ass off 2013 going into 2014, and um I found myself under a leadership that I did not agree with. um I felt as if I was working extremely hard and continually having to prove myself to this particular VP. Um, and I became exhausted. I became tired, and I just said, I'm giving all that I have in this job, and more than likely I'm not going to grow. And I didn't at that time agree with a lot of the decisions that were being made on the digital front. So I was like, I'm just gonna, I've got to go. I have to go somewhere else. And I landed an opportunity with the Florida State Seminoles athletic department, and I was the director of new media, if you will, for their department. And that was a super short uh, tenure there as well. When I got there, I realized just how much different things are compared to the North and the South. I mean, I won't state the obvious in that regard, but um, just the pace, like I was so used to things being very fast paced, very, we've got to get this done, we got to get that done. Like let's see what we can explore, from this standpoint. And they were just very taking their time, just very slow. And I think I was just like, man, I am not used to this pace at all. And during my time in Cleveland, I developed a lot of friendships with different people within different franchises in the NFL that worked on the digital front. There was a conference, and I'm sure it's still goes on. I mean, granted, with COVID, I'm not really sure how they're doing it now. More than likely, it's probably virtual. But every year, the NFL digital clubs get together and they have a conference, and we just kind of recap how our season was, and we learn about new technologies and things that we can do to help grow our numbers and get better analytics and traffic to our site, different social campaigns that we can do. I mean, it was really, really cool. And I really enjoyed that. But I developed a friendship with the at the time Jaguars digital manager, and I saw that they had an opening, and I was just like, wow, man, I just more than anything, when I was in Cleveland, I just wanted to be a manager, and it just seemed like I was hitting a brick wall in becoming a manager. And here is an opportunity for me to be a digital manager with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I applied for that position. I think I did a similar project that I did when I applied for the Cleveland job, and I got that job. So I was at Florida State from, let's see, November 2014 to like July or June or July of 2015, and then I think I started with the Jaguars like the second or third week in July. Like we were literally getting ready to go into training camp. In terms of my job responsibilities, they were very much the same as the job responsibilities that I had in Cleveland. You know, development, design, social media, email. It was very all encompassing. We were responsible for a lot of things, and I learned very very quickly. Sometimes it's not always a walk in the park working for your friends. I you know how do I want to put this? I adored my manager as a friend, but as a manager, I think there were some things that I had wished that um, sort of came to fruition that I wish sort of happened. And unfortunately, I kind of found myself under that same just really really bad leadership in Jacksonville, much like the experience that I had in Cleveland. And but I wanted to stick it out. I said, I can't, I've moved down here. I just can't continue to move from job to job. And so, um, 2016 was a really really trying, challenging year for me. And I'll just go on record and say that 2016 was probably the worst year of my life to date. Um, I had lost my grandmother to a stroke December 1st of 2016. And, that just kind of, it just really, it kind of rocked my world a little bit. And then we were winding the season down, and um, I think I went home for, uh, um, I think I was home for Christmas and was working remotely. And luckily we had some away games, so it was possible for me to work remotely. But that first week of January, I came back, and I think it was that Friday, and then all of a sudden, like, I get an email stating, seeing that HR email from like a half hour block saying, "Hey, let's talk about this." And like once I saw that, I was just like, I've been through this motion before. I know how this works, and it really kind of caught me off guard because I was more than qualified to do the job. I was doing my job and then some, and it just was one of those situations where the then VP at the time just wanted to go into a completely different direction, and um, it was very it was kind of cold in that usually when you get laid off, you get a severance package. I walked away with nothing. Nothing.
That
It
hurts.
was it was just like, "Thank you for the year and a half, 2 years that you've put in here. We've decided to go in a different direction. This is the role that we wanna hire for. You're more than welcome to apply for it. Like, I'm really gonna apply for that position considering you have me here." But I was professional about it. I was extremely professional about it and just thanked them for the opportunity. And um, I came back home to Ohio, I want to say February of 2017. And 2017 was another trying year because I really just had to figure out what the heck I was going to do with my life. Like, at that point in time, I had given all of my heart, all of my energy, all of my talents to the NFL for two franchises, and I was expecting to be somewhere career wise, that unfortunately just did not come to fruition. And I also don't think that I properly grieved my grandmother's death. Obviously, it was very sad, and I was aware of her death, but I didn't really take the time to grieve. And for several months, I just, off and on would just cry, and it was needed. And I was fortunate to land another job, which I'm at now and have been for actually I want to say 3 years, either yesterday or today, one of the two. But I've been there for 3 years. I work in higher education as a web developer, and I think it was that August um, of 2017. I had gotten, I think it was like a Facebook message or a textbook message from my former manager down in Jacksonville. And he messaged me and just said, "Man, it's just not the same without you here, and there are things that, you and I would talk about that only you and I would get, and like I would say certain things to other people and they have no idea what I'm talking about, and it's just really weird without you being here." And I literally broke down. Like I've shared this story with you. I'm happy to share it with with your community. I literally broke down. Like I just said I'm devastated. Like I feel like I'm not doing what it is that I really want to do, and I don't really know where to go. Like I don't really know what to do, and I'm so lost because I was so used to being in a certain environment for so long, and then for it to be cut off the way that it was. And then when I got that message from my former manager, it was just like, you know, I haven't properly dealt with this. And I hope you don't mind me talking about this, but
You're fine.
mental health is so stinking important. It's so freaking important. And I got help. I started seeing a therapist, and I just started to unravel just how I career wise just felt really stuck, and that I didn't truly understand why I lost my job, and I just didn't understand like why I essentially felt like my career just blew up in front of my face.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I understand that. I've been there with that the same stuff. I mean, well, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to
yeah,
happen through a short period of time. I mean, uh, 4 years, 5 years that you're
yep,
switching through stuff. People telling you you're not good enough at it, but you look at it. I mean, it's molded you to who you are now,
right,
and
right,
it's molded
right,
you to a great person, somebody that loves life, somebody that's outgoing. Um, so there's benefits in the
right,
negatives.
right.
So
And that's ultimately what I was going to get to. I have no problem in saying that I have been seeing a therapist, and still seeing a therapist for the past 3 years. I am currently on an antidepressant that I have to take every day. At some point, I would like to get off that, but I am so grateful um, for the Twitch community and the Madden community. It wasn't until last year, 2019, January 31st was or maybe it was the 30th, was my very first stream. And I think I played Kingdom Hearts. And I just, at that time, just said, I want to keep doing this. Like, this is fun. Maybe I can find some friends through doing this. And um, then I started, to stream Madden a little bit more, and I just stuck with it and started, upgrading my equipment, and I feel like things just kind of really I feel like within the past 2 to 3 months, I've just really been embraced by the Madden community. And it did, a few weeks back, just kind of bring me to tears, because it's just like, wow, I literally was lost. Like, I literally was lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Didn't even really know if I wanted to continue my life. And what I can say now is the things that I went through emotionally, um, as sucky as they were, like, in some regard, I do need to take pride in that being a part of me. Like, I think it's so funny because, like, my mom, like, when she's out and about and, like, she would see people and they're like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a long time. How's your daughter doing?" And, she would say, "Oh, she's fine. She's working in the NFL for this club or that club." And they're just like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious? That is
I
so
said the
amazing.
same
Oh
thing when
my
I
gosh,
found it out.
that is so much fun." And my mom had to tell him, "It ain't a bed of roses." It is it is
Definitely not.
not a bed of roses. I mean, it is a grind. It is a beauty contest. It is a, who you know. It is a um, it's a different kind of world. And I the passion that I developed to get into the NFL just kind of sort of, granted, I mean, I have learned over this past year to love the NFL again, because while I was going through that tough time, like, I couldn't even bring myself to watch any games. Like, I just couldn't. Sundays, Monday night, Thursday night, I just threw myself into something else,
I was kind of like
and
that myself too. Like coming out of playing football for so long,
yeah.
playing from when I was 6 years old to 33 years old. Like
Mhm.
I stopped. I knew I had to stay away from every bit of it. Like I had to. I didn't even play Madden.
Right.
Probably sounds crazy,
Right.
but I had to retire and get away from what I loved. It had to have been the hardest. That's probably been one of the hardest things in my life. Besides like losing my son and stuff like that. Like hardest thing I had to accomplish because of having to shut down, take my mentality away. Hey, look, if I'm pissed off all week, I get to go hit somebody on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like that's how I always looked at it. I get to go smash somebody in the face and they fall over. I'm good. I accomplished what
Right.
I want to
Right.
do. But stepping away is like it was hard because I had so many friends in the league. I played 14 years in the league I was in. One league, 14 seasons. I,
Right.
I met everybody and anybody. And I got to practice against NFL players. Like I
Mhm.
played like Sean McCoy, Danny Lansana. So we get to play Marcus Colston, Jordan Hill. Like I got to play against some guys that got rings, man,
Right.
and just
Right.
got to
Yeah.
practice. Like even wasn't even playing, more practicing. Had a coach that was well known because he went to Penn State and whatnot. But it was that year, man. Till this day, like I still get that urge, man. When I hear like my friends, like some people were still playing, and younger guys they're getting older in the league now,
Mhm.
and they're still playing. I start seeing them posting pictures. Like, man, I'm ready to go. Just one more time. I just want to put the helmet on pads and just go run down and smack somebody. Like
Right.
I could do it one more time, and then I look down. I'm like, bro, no, you can't. You're way too fat and out of shape. You'll die. You'll die on the 15-yard line before you even get to the middle of the field. And
Right.
it took me a long time to get over it because I mean,
Right.
your blood. You play that
Mhm.
long, it becomes just in your blood, and your body yearns for it. Like it's just weird.
Right.
But
Right.
I got over it, and then I was able to start watching football again. And I wasn't getting that urge like I had to go play. And
Mhm.
like I have not yet. Like I'm still doing it, and I still have to take my. I still have not stepped on field with like or even got near the team that I used to play for or anything like that. They keep asking me when you coming back, watch us or come coach or something. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it yet. Like,
Right.
that,
Right.
like I'm weird, man. It's like to me, it's like you smell the grass, you
Yep.
see the lines, the white lines. It's like when you cross the white line, it's go time.
Yep.
And like I
Right.
have not brought myself back to that yet. But getting into everything you said, I mean, it still had to have been an awesome experience to put yourself into part of the NFL at such a young age. It had to be like kind of mind blowing.
I'll be honest, that is something that I have a horrible tendency of losing sight of, and my therapist often does remind me, like, you know, I was able to do something that not a lot of people will ever have the opportunity to do, and I looked at those situations a lot of the time and said, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? I never did anything to anybody. All I wanted to do was just to continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to use my skill sets to better my team, to better the leadership, to just really just better the franchise. And I think, me being a firm believer in Christ, um, I really had to step back and say, you know what? This is 100% likely for my good. This is more than likely, God saying, you know what? This is over with. This is over with. I've got something far better. I see what this is doing to you mentally. I see what this is doing to you physically, and it's time. It's time. And it's not exactly something you can argue with, You just
I mean,
you have to
you've
accept it for what it is.
you've had your shot at it. You had your play at it. I mean, you fell in that time. But
Right.
I always say, it's like you work for something like that. They always think they make a better move. They'll get somebody younger, newer, coming out of college with uh they think more knowledge than you, and then they make that move, and then most of the time I think it kicks them in the legs, and they find out later that it wasn't the move, kind of like Jacksonville did with you.
Right.
They made a
Right.
move, that move didn't work out, so then they tried to come back. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And
And I mean, I wish them all the best. I wish, my manager the best, and unfortunately I have not talked to him for really since that exchange 3 years ago, and it's nothing personal. It's nothing like, I just don't want to talk to you. I truly believe in just, moving on,
done
I
is done.
mean, granted, if he were to come to me right now, if any of them were to come to me right now, I'm not gonna say, "Why are you calling me? Get out of my life." If there was something that they genuinely needed, as a human being and as a Christian human being, I would provide for whatever it was that I would try to do as best as I could. I mean, granted, I don't know what that may be. That may never happen, but as a good person, because I consider myself a good person, I would try to do what I could despite what had happened, in the past. But that just kind of brings me to today. I mean, that's why you see me here. I'm
I think it
enjoying
led
my
you to
time.
your right spot. I really do. Like I
Right. I
think
mean,
that
I enjoy football again. Like, I literally watched the whole entire season
I
this
mean
year.
I
I'm
think
playing the game. Like, it's fun again, and
with
maybe that's
everything that happened, I think it's one of those things, is like people tend to close their eyes to think, and when it comes down to it, it's they get their wants become so strong,
right.
and
Right.
they start taking over that person and controlling that
Mhm.
person, instead of that person really looking at their need. I tell my wife this all the time. She's like, she's one of those people. She's like, "Oh, I'm not this hot looking girl. I'm not this da, 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 prissy little girl." I'm like, "Yeah, that might be what I wanted, but you were given to me because it's what I need." And I tell her
Right.
that all the time, because you chase. I always put it for second. If I chase the girl I want, I'm probably not going to be happy, because she's going to be stuck up, snobby,
Yeah.
and super high maintenance. And I'm good. I'm good. I'll take my needs over that any day. Like, I mean, as a younger person, I probably would have been like, I need the what. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Totally.
you don't see the big picture, but as you grow, you learn these things. I mean, just think,
Mhm.
if you never take this time to go to a therapist, never take the time to learn who Lauren really is,
Right.
you don't build the community you have on Twitch.
Right.
You don't gain this awesome friendship of people. And
And I
so
think that's why it's truly a blessing for me, because now I feel like I have another family outside of my current family, and I really I I guess I just didn't see any of this coming. Like, I just sort of went after it. I just sort of threw myself in it just to see where things went, and I feel like, outside of my schoolwork, because I am in school. I'm in a graduate. I'm studying to get my master's in business administration. I started in last the fall of last year, so I still got some ways to go. I'm scheduled to be done fall of next year. And we'll see how things write out with that. But even with that, my parents, they just swear up and down that once I get done with this program, and once I get my MBA, I'm just
Start again.
jet sailing back into the NFL. And I'm just like, I
Or it might be done. I mean,
maybe
there's
2 years ago I would have said, yeah, that's gonna happen. But I just I really feel like, as much as I enjoyed the work that I did, it really took some years off my life. And I ask myself, is that something that I want to throw myself into again? Do I want to throw myself into having to be on call all the time? Do I want to throw myself into it, being 1 o'clock in the morning and, hey, we need to get something ready for their website. They're getting ready to sign so and so, or, hey, this is about to happen, or we're about to cut so and so, and we're trying to beat Shefty to it, and blah blah blah. It is a constant 24/7. There is no social life. How people have families in the NFL and work in the NFL. Congratulations to you and being able to find that balance, because as a single female, it just became, I think, looking back on it, it was just really taking me down a very, very unhealthy path. And despite the assumption that that's an environment that I will throw myself back into, I can honestly say I don't believe so. I don't think so.
now with those experiences in where you're currently at now. I mean,
Well, that's what's so fun about where I'm
how'd you
at now.
find how'd you find yourself move from where you started and then gradually move to admin community?
Honestly, I just that's really tough to explain. I mean, these are, all I can do is just really sum them up to, honestly, just the blessings. I mean, I totally did not see myself getting rated by, EA. I totally did not see myself being asked to be part of the OG network, and I'm just so grateful for all of those opportunities. I totally did not see being asked to be part of of Madden Live. And I'm just like, why is all this happening to me? Why are all these, great things happening to me? But at the same time, like, I they're just blessings, and I have to recognize them as blessings. And I think too, it's an opportunity for me to um create another set of family, like I said earlier, like another tree of friendships. I mean, I'm really starting to explore, hey, maybe I can start creating some content. Maybe not so much, the content that I'm, you know, making on Twitch, but maybe I can make like a weekend vlog, and you can see what it's like to be in my house and in my life and with my family on the weekends. And maybe I can really, maybe now is the time for me to really start to be able to do what it is that I want to do, because at the end of the day, when you work for a corporation or when you work for someone, yes, you're talented. Yes, you have the skill sets to do the job, but maybe 35% of what it is that you wanted to do with that project initially is what's going to be incorporated into that project. That other 75%, that's your director, right? That's your VP. That's their vision. And I just say to myself, maybe this is my time to really just kind of take this, what's in front of me, and run with it, and just see where it goes. I've strongly considered getting back into freelancing. I've strongly considered, getting back into, design work, and providing services for people, and just hustling again. And I so lost that. I was so in this dark hole like 2 years ago, and it was just like I would box myself. I would say, you know, hey, maybe I'll try this, but what if this happens? Or hey, maybe I'll try that, but what if that happens? And I have to, and it's still something that I struggle with, and my therapist even tells me, you box yourself into a headache, because you create these paths that you say that you want to go down, but then you start thinking of all the negatives. You start thinking of things that might not go in your favor or might not work out. But the beauty of it is I've gone down several experiences that did not work out, and yet I'm still here. I'm still here.
I
Like
mean,
I'm still doing, I'm still finding different avenues and still just pressing on, and um yeah, yeah.
and
Um
that's what it's all about too. That that spot is
yep,
like you get. I always tell people when something negative happening, positive, positive
right,
won't show itself.
right.
Look, you'll find it, and positive will eventually.
Mhm.
I've been
Mhm.
on that my all my life. I've thought about that, and like I said,
Right.
me just coming back, I had to take 30 days away. All, I was in kind of like the same spot you were, a little bit different course of reasoning, but I took that time to figure out who I was, what I needed to do, and I came back, and it's been like a ball game to me, and I realized what I'm capable of. Without
Absolutely.
having like, I stopped worrying about Madden Live. I stopped worrying about a rating. Stopped worrying about like I was so bent on getting in with the network. Not worrying about it all. I was like, look, that shit's gonna happen when it's meant to happen. Like, if it's not coming now, then it doesn't come. It does, it doesn't. Like, so I just started grinding, and like we get on voice calls all the time when you're streaming, when I'm streaming.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
um it's a big thing that we've we've grown together a little bit, and um with inside the I mean with you're having a ton of success right now, ton of it. Like, to you it might not be a ton of success because you've been on higher levels with like the football teams and stuff like that, but coming into it all, I mean, you got the OG network behind you. They have a ton of content creators, and your pick. You are the only female in the group.
And honestly, I feel honored, and I at the same time like I feel indebted, because I it would be nonsensical for me to sit here and say that, I should be above, any other um female Madden content creator, because I shouldn't, I really shouldn't. I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I definitely need to earn my keep, like I want to get better at the game. I want to understand, cuz despite the fact that I'm as horrible as I am and I'm getting lit up in head to head, or I'm getting lit up in weekend league, I still thoroughly enjoy the game, and I think about that all the time, and that, J Dub and all those guys, they totally could have picked someone else. They totally could have found, a different female to be a part of the network. But they chose me, and that's why it's so important for me to give credit where credit is due. It's important for me to, you know, um give Queen Jess, the due diligence that she deserves. It's important for me to give, Bama Girl the due diligence, because they've been out here. They've been out here way way longer than me, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm not worthy. I'm totally not worthy, and I humble myself in the position that I'm at the same time, I have always had a conscious effort in my mind that because I am a part of this group, and I am a part of something amazing. I do want to give back. I do. It's important to me to try and get into and watch other streamers. Other streamers that might not have the numbers. Like I do, as best as I can to host, streamers that don't have the numbers, or is trying to get that affiliate, or that's important to me. That's important to me. By no means do I want to be seen as, oh, she's a part of the OG network. She just, she only F's with the OG network. She only this, she only that. Like, that's not what I want to embrace everybody. I want everyone to have the exposure that they deserve, and I feel like that's the very least, that I can do. So 100% I humble myself at being in the position that I'm in, and if there's anything that I can do, to try and help someone grow, I'm going to do it, and I just think, I mean, I hate to get all philosophical, but the reason we were put on this earth is to help people. That's it. Right?
And man,
We were put on here to help
you already
people.
know I'm about to help. I mean, we just did like
Right.
some really big stuff for a friend of mine. We raised a lot of money in a short amount of time. It was really mind blowing to me that we raised that type of money in that short. I mean, we raised, I think it ended up like $2,050, and we had
A lot. It's a lot.
within an hour and a half. So it was a humbling experience for me, and um definitely. I mean, I think where you're at right now, like this is me watching and paying attention, observing. Have the graphic skill set. I see you doing emotes now for the community, doing
Trying to.
other little. I mean, you're busy trying to. I think they look good. You have like your own little niche, the way you do them.
Right.
You know that you did them. Like they're Lauren's emotes. She did that, and I think where you're at now is just like I think it's a great spot for you to really broaden out. Like you have the skill set. You could do your own graphics. You don't have to pay nobody. Do your own
Right.
thumbnails. You don't have to pay nobody. I mean, you could edit your own videos. You know how to do all that. Me, like you're made. This is what you're made for, right here.
Right. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Being a content creator is what you're made to do. And you have, like I said, you have everything. I wish I knew how to edit. I wish I could make my own graphics because I hate paying people, and I have to pay people for all that. And I literally, I mean, pay people for I pay people for my thumbnails. I mean,
Right.
I don't really edit too much, but uh, I pay people to make overlays, panels, all my emotes, all that stuff gets paid for. You have above, like you're way above some of these people that are on here. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some really good creators, but to have that as a content creator, you're in a great spot.
I mean, I do feel like I have a lot to learn. Like my video editing skills, they're coming along. They're not quite where I want them to be, but by no means am I'm at a level of like Peter McKinnon and I'm just gonna start, spitting out, crazy tutorials on this or that and the third. Um but yeah, I like, if there's something that I really want to, what I think, to one of the valuable lessons that I learned through my Cowboys experience is that if there is something that you want to do, or if there is something that you want to learn how to do, you need to take it upon yourself to learn it. I developed this demeanor and attitude over the years of, I don't want to rely on someone else to figure something out that I want to know about. Like if there's something that I don't know, first place I'm going is Google, or I'm going to YouTube to figure out, to watch like a tutorial on how to do something. I don't want to rely on someone else. And that's just me. Everybody's different, but that is just me. And the benefit of that, are the skill sets that you learn along the way in having that mindset.
What do you think? What do you think's next for you?
Oh gosh.
What do you think is
Oh
next for
gosh.
Lauren? Where you currently stand?
Well, I think this
Besides
is the most
graduating.
Well, we'll see. We'll really see. I mean, right now I hate using this word, but it's appropriate to use for what everything that's going on. There's a ton of uncertainty with COVID-19, a lot of people are unfortunately being furloughed and losing their jobs, and if I'm just being honest, there's a very, very good possibility that I could be one of them. I could be one of them. And um, I can say without necessarily knowing the future or where I'm gonna be, I don't know, like a year from now, 5 years from now. Um, I do know that my goal is to eventually work for myself. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I know I just need to start, but I would love to be my own boss. And I think that's another reason why I'm pursuing my master's degree, because I feel like if for whatever reason that weren't to work out, at least I have something on the back burner that I can use, if in the future I do need to use that. But ultimately, yeah, I want to be my own boss. I want to put together my visions of creative things. I don't what I've learned in working in the NFL and just working in the creative field when you're working for someone else is, yes, you have the talent to put together awesome things, but at the end of the day, you are using that talent to put together someone else's vision. And I would like to be in a position where I can start putting together, my vision, my using my creativity for the things that I like. Now, granted, I'm not saying, I'm not saying like I want to be in a position where I can use my skill sets to provide a service for someone that will help them grow. I don't want to be in a position where I'm using my talents to service someone's ego, if that makes sense. Because that's for me, and
Don't
granted, not
don't
everybody has had the experience that I have had, but that since I have graduated and got my undergraduate and started going out here in these streets and working in different creative fields, that has 100% always been my situation
don't you
for
think
me.
you're in that position now though? To be
I
your
think
own
so, and
boss.
I do. I do. It's funny you say
You
that.
could be
And
your own
honestly,
boss. You could do your own creative thing the way you want to do it.
right, right. I just need to do it. And I know this. I totally know this.
Read my mind. I was gonna give it to
I
you.
just need to do it.
I really was gonna give it to
Right?
you right there. But
Right? I just need to
what do
freaking
you
do it.
see as yourself like as a content creator? Like do you see yourself what do you really see yourself digging into over the next maybe six
It's where
months
I'm
to a
kind of
year?
stuck. That's where I sort of put myself in a box. It's like, I was thinking the other day, like I have nothing on my YouTube channel right now, and I started thinking maybe I should just stop um, having my VODs on Twitch and just start loading all of my streams to YouTube just to get some kind of traffic there, and I think my problem is I like to have things planned out and I like to execute those plans to a T, and I would like for there to be some consistency. And I run into the situation of, yeah, that's great. Let's say that I stop, saving my VODs for all my subscribers to watch if they missed my stream, and just putting everything on YouTube so that everybody can see it. But what if I want to start vlogging? Like how does that flow with 2 hours and 45 minutes of me streaming, and the next thing I know I'm putting out, a vlog of what I did for, for the day or for the week, or so it's just for me, it's just a matter of having a plan. And I don't know, maybe I just start putting content together and just having it, right? Just having an archive of content and then just putting the puzzle pieces together from there, and seeing where things go. I don't know,
That sounds like a
but
plan to me.
yeah, I think that's where this is ultimately going, is just doing it. Just doing it,
Yeah.
and just having an archive of something and then just starting to,
I think
you
you're
know
overthinking yourself. I think you
and
have the
that is
plan.
my problem.
I think
That
you
is
have the
my number
plan.
one problem in life.
You have the plan. You have it. It's sitting right in front of you.
Yep.
And I think it's time to execute. It's just the
Yep.
execute time. Um, but like I'm just blown away because you've got the experience so much in a
Right.
short time. And I know you look at it, you probably look at it, you're looking at it differently than I look at it. I
Mhm.
look at it as you had an opportunity to experience something. The
Right.
experience it wasn't meant to be. But
Mhm.
you were young. You were 27 years old going
Yeah.
into the
22.
NFL.
Yep.
Going into the NFL. Like
Yep.
I
I was
I
just a
get
baby.
floored by that. I get floored by it. Like that's huge. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's not too many of them. I mean, unless you're a player coming out
Mhm.
of college that young going into doing something that big. I mean, you're putting out stuff that is all over their social media, all over. Like, I mean, there's a lot of trust that goes that you're not gonna bomb it
Yeah.
and throw some crazy nonsense out
Oh,
there.
I've had, in fact, let me I've had some instances. I'm trying to think of one. I totally trolled, and I didn't mean to. I did not mean to do this, but, obviously, the history of the Browns, right?
Yeah,
And their history has been that they're just not a very good football team. Since the franchise has come back to Cleveland since 1999, they have had their fair share of struggles. Now, granted, they might be on the up and up, and,
on paper.
right, right, they might be on the up and up, but I just can't tell you the 2012 season and the whole 2013 season and, part of the 2014 season, it's just like game after game after game. It's, because I wasn't fortunate enough to travel with the team. I primarily just worked. On Sundays I worked home games, and then when there was an away game, I would actually go into Berea. I would go into the training facility and work with the video guys that weren't able to make the trip as well. And we were just watching the game and working and pumping out content. It was a lot of fun. But I think Brandon Weeden was the starting quarterback at the time, and I was overseeing, or I was tweeting, to various. I was doing play by play during the game, and I I like at Brandon Weeden and said at B Weeden yet again throws another interception or something like
Oh
that. And then
no.
the next thing I know, like that just completely blew up the fact that we were as a pretty much an organization trolling Brandon Weeden. And I didn't even because I didn't even do it on purpose. It was just like, you know, working for the franchise. Obviously, I wanted the franchise to be successful. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan, but working for the franchise, I was a Browns fan. I wanted the Browns to win. I wanted things to turn around. And just week after week after week after week, just the same story, like literally the same losing story week after week. And I just,
Your
I
fingers had
wasn't,
enough.
yeah. It's just sad enough. I mean, my boss talked to me about it, and I wasn't, in trouble or anything like that. Like, it wasn't like, "What the f are you doing?" It wasn't anything like that, but it was just like, it was more so of, "Lauren, I know where you're coming from, but we just
Pull
can't do
back.
that."
Pull back. All right. So what we're gonna
I
do
feel it. I feel where you're coming from, but we just can't do it. We can't do it.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a little bit of the Q&A stuff with the chat and see if they have
Yeah,
any
let's
questions
do it.
for you.
Fire
So
away, chat.
chat, if you got any questions, let them fly in chat and we'll get Lauren to answer them. No tweeting,
I'll
Lauren.
try to answer them the best I can. Yeah, I'm going through the chat now.
I don't think they
See
had
if
anything.
there's anything.
Not yet. Anybody have? Oh, there you go. There you go. How long have you been a Steelers fan?
How long have I been a Steelers fan? I would say from a consistency standpoint, probably the past 2 years, but fair weather pretty much since I was in middle school. And primarily because my mom's side of the family is from Pittsburgh. So that's where that comes into play.
So, who's your favorite player of all currently and all time for the Steelers?
All time. Hmm. Believe it or not, my favorite
Head
player of
and
all
shoulders.
time is no, no, honestly, it's not. My favorite player of all time is, Peyton Manning, and I actually spoke on this a little bit, I
I think
think,
they're
during one of
talking
my
Steelers
my
players.
streams.
I think they're talking
Oh,
strictly
Steelers
Steelers. Yeah.
players? Oh, I thought they meant, like, all time.
They're talking Steelers players
Um,
currently and all time.
all-time Steelers player, I gotta go Jerome Bettis, I gotta go with the bus. And, um, currently, um, let's
Poor Bus will be in a wheelchair soon.
see. Fitzpatrick, yeah, I gotta go.
Patrick. Then
Yeah.
next question was, how do you feel having the fourth best playlist on Twitch?
Oh gosh. I should have known fourth quarter gaming was gonna come out. I'm honored fourth quarter gaming, and I will take this opportunity to say that the best
She's top 5.
playlist on Twitch, on Madden, hands down, goes to fourth quarter gaming. If you want the
Ooh,
hits, if you want the slammin' joints, if you want the joints where like, "Oh shoot, I ain't heard this in a minute."
and I
Fourth
hate to
quarter
see where
gaming.
I hate to see where I rank
Fourth
then.
fourth quarter gaming.
I hate to see where my rank is on my playlist.
I'll say, number 2, 'cause you've got some of the hits too. Some of the hits on your playlist definitely take me back to, like, junior high and high school. Like, I think one day you had on, what was it? Aaliyah, 4-Page Letter. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't heard this
You probably had some
I haven't
boys
heard
sing you
this
that song.
in years."
You probably wrote you the whole song and sent it to you. Asked you the letter under your chair.
Oh, man. What's for dinner tonight? I honestly don't know. I had a fairly big lunch. I had Chipotle for lunch, so we'll see.
I've never had Chipotle.
Never
Ever.
had Chipotle?
No, never
I
had it.
used to be pretty crazy about their bowls. But
Yep.
I
I'm
started
a
eating
bowl
their
guy.
tacos. I started getting tacos.
I'm a bowl guy from KFC. I need that cheese, mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, chicken.
One thing
Amazing.
that KFC absolutely does phenomenal, granted it's filled with crazy amounts of sodium, is their pot pies. Hands down,
Bad one.
KFC has the best pot pies in the world.
So here's another. I've seen another one. What's your go-to play on Madden? You have a go-to play? Good one.
Uh, offense or defense? Or does it matter?
I don't know. That doesn't really matter. You can tell us.
Uh, let's see. Offense, probably something in Gun Bunch. Because like I said, I am still even though
He's
I've
the
been playing
buncher.
Madden, I am a buncher. Even though I've been playing Madden for a while, I feel like now I'm really starting like this is like the first I've never really played competitively. I've always been, you know, exhibition, franchise mode. I've always been that type of player. So this is like the first time that I'm really starting to get into playing other people. And I specifically go into that formation because I feel like it's a little bit easier for me to try and decipher what they're doing on defense. I mean, granted, they can audible, they can, whatever. But I am excited for Madden 21 because I do plan on playing that way more aggressively than I'm playing Madden 20 right now. I mean, when Madden 20 came out, I started playing it and I play it on PC, unfortunately. I will be going back to
Boo.
console. I will be going back to console.
Man, we got
Most likely it will be
cows running around
Xbox.
here and shit.
It will likely be Xbox, but I was pretty hot and heavy in the very beginning, and then I fell off when I started grad school because I really just wanted to put all my attention to grad school. It had been 10 years since I had taken a college course, so I really just wanted to get back into that college study priority mindset. Um, and then I kind of came back on like the winter. Yeah, I kind of came back on during the winter, and by then it was too late. I mean, with the PC market being as small as it is, it's difficult. Like for instance, I'm trying to upgrade Davion Clowney, and there are specific cards that I need in order to do that, and most of the times those cards that I need are not there,
Let's get
and
wild.
I'll either have to either hit up Texas Rafe and see if he can spare me a card or grind some kind of way to get it. So that's another reason too why I think I'm going to go to the Xbox market because it's just so much bigger. And I think if I were to fire up my Xbox One right now and start completely over, I think all the assets that I would need in order to um get my team to like I don't know like a 92, I could probably literally accomplish that maybe in 2 weeks just because
Market
the
being so low.
inventory is just so much bigger.
Well, and our next question is from Phineas because he wants to know how does it feel having him in your dream all the time? Pretty epic, right?
Phineas in my stream? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love having Phineas in my stream.
So let's see. Fourth quarter wants to know what you like to do off stream.
What do I like to do off stream? Play Animal Crossing. I love my family. I love spending time with my family. As far as my current situation right now, I am still living at home, and my plan is to change that once I do graduate from. Once I do finish my master's program, I've started house looking, and it's a headache, but
I'll never do it again. Never again. My
it
wife
is
pick
it
my
is
I'm not letting
it
my
is
wife
a
pick if
headache.
I
Like
do.
I'm really trying to decipher, should I just build,
I
or
would.
should I
I would build it.
just,
If I could
you
afford it,
know,
I'd build it. Building.
yeah.
Absolutely. Then you got
So,
everything you want, everything is new, everything is the way you want it to
right,
be. Like
right.
I would so do that in a heartbeat.
I would absolutely love to build. I would love to build,
I would
but
love to bulldoze my house now.
we'll see what the next 2 years bring.
So
Um,
he also asked, "You have any kids, or do you want any?"
um, I do not have any kids currently, and I fluctuate in terms of whether or not I want kids. A part of me does say, "Hey, you kind of need to get going. You're getting up there." But then like I'll see some kid just
Spaz
acting
out.
up, or like I'll see, or like even more serious, just like the massive shootings that are happening, and like the fact that people are just no holds bar, and freaking shooting up, kindergartners and daycares
Yeah.
and middle schools. It's just that stuff terrifies me. It really does. And like I don't know what I mean, obviously I don't want to think it into existence, but I go back and forth with it. I really do. I'm where I'm at right now in life, I'm leaning more towards probably not, but that can change. That can 100% change.
So Phineas, uh, fourth quarter, he said if he didn't know that fourth quarter was married, he would think that was an offer.
What? Like an offer to have kids with
Yeah,
fourth quarter?
that's what he's saying. He said
Oh
if he
my
didn't know
gosh.
that fourth quarter was married, he would think that was an offer.
Oh my goodness. No, fourth quarter is married and he has beautiful children.
I'm done, bro. This chat is wild.
Right. Right. This is what happens when you open up the floodgates.
I love it. Do we have any more questions? I know Gamepad got questions. He always got questions. Gamepad
Right.
don't like to shut the
Gamepad, get
fuck
in
up.
here. He said PC is a wasteland. It
He
really
said, "I'm
is.
not even drinking." Y'all are fools.
Thanks for letting us into your world. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I cannot thank you enough, Smee, for, I mean, I don't know if we're wrapping up or not, but I
Nah,
definitely
we're
want
having
to.
fun. We're having fun. I'm waiting for some more conversation. I know these guys got questions. They don't ever shut the fuck up any other time. They got all the words all day long when they stream for 5, 6 hours.
Right.
And we know Gamepad don't stop talking. I don't know where he's at, but
I love Gamepad.
I love
He
looking.
goes off on tangents so much on his streams, and like he just goes down paths sometimes, and I'm just like, what is he talking about?
I think that's what
But
makes
it's
it
so
special.
funny.
I think that's what makes his content like unique. Is you don't know what you're gonna get from Gamepad. You know you're gonna get some wild shit.
Right,
That's
right,
that's a plus. And then when you get the fourth quarter, you know he once you do the route that he doesn't want you to do, it's all over from there. Snapping and he's giving you everything. He
right.
said, so uh Jim is awesome. He said, how much could a woodchuck could chuck wood?
What that means?
Can't chuck any wood. Chucks can't
I
chuck
don't know
wood.
what that means. I can't chuck wood.
Woodchucks can't chuck wood.
Okay.
You've never
Like
heard
I don't
that?
even know. No.
Wow. It was one of those like tongue twisters back in the day.
Oh,
You gotta say it.
gotcha.
He said, don't judge him. He's been here. I mean, I did get it out good. You know what I mean? I did get it out pretty well. I didn't mess it up.
Yeah. In all seriousness, this was great. Oh yes, for sure, for sure. Like again, like I was about to say, like I can't thank you enough for thinking of me and wanting me to be a part of this, and really open up, and as they said, the realness and the genuineness. And yeah, this was a lot of fun, and now you have a little bit more insight into my world, and what I've been through, and how I ultimately got to where I'm at in life. And Yeah, honestly, the next course of action is to lose about 30 pounds. If I'm
I'm
being
with
real.
you. I'm like a big. I'm fat as shit right now. You can roll me
Like,
down. You can
oh
roll me
gosh,
down a hill, and I
showed
would keep
you
rolling because I'm wide on all four sides right
if I showed you a picture
now.
of what I looked like in 2014,
Come on, we all
2015,
got those pictures.
you'd be like, "Wow, Lauren, you've really been through it."
Look, we all
Like,
got
you've
those
really been through
pictures.
it.
If I showed you myself, what is it? It's probably been 2, 3 years since I've been in the gym. When I was in the gym, full tilt, no word of a lie. I was fat, real fat, and I was about 39% body fat. Within 3 months, like I was killing myself. I was 3 hours a day in the gym every day, just going ham
Right.
between cardio and all this other shit.
Yeah. See, I was
In
more
that
so
time,
cardio.
that
I was
time,
running marathons. I ran a half
I know.
marathon.
See,
Will probably
we
never
ain't
do it
doing all that
again,
shit.
but
We ain't doing all that running. We ain't doing all that running. I'm down to do some cardio for
see, that was
20
totally
to
me when,
20
like,
minutes
I
to an
used
hour,
to
but after that, we're done. My big ass getting off
yeah,
of it.
I, it was almost obsessive kinda like, literally what
It does.
my
It does. When you really get into it, it does become very obsessive, especially if you start eating right. And that becomes your
well,
routine.
and that's honestly, that's one of the perks that I do miss about working at the Browns is that food my grocery bill, I didn't have one. They provided breakfast, they provided
Damn, I
lunch,
need
and
that
they
in my life.
provided dinner, primarily for the players, but they were cool in that they allowed, employees to be able to eat. I mean, obviously, it was all for the players, but they did allow employees to eat the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it
Bro,
was I mean, it was cool. I'd come in, I'd eat breakfast, I'd eat lunch. They opened up like the training, like the actual weight room
mhm,
to employees after like I think 5 o'clock. I would literally, work till 6, go downstairs, change my clothes, get on the treadmill, run for like an hour, uh,
I'm
you
good. I
know,
ain't running on
grab
treadmill for no
dinner.
hour.
I would grab dinner. I would go home funky because I wasn't trying to shower there, and then I would shower once I got home and did a little bit more work,
Could
and
have bet
then
your
just
future husband.
it's possible. I I've seen too many things. I know too many
Oh, you
things,
see too many things. Oh
and,
no.
that'll never happen.
He
That'll
said,
never
"I
happen.
just."
That'll
I
never
already know.
happen.
I got too many friends in the NFL. I
This
already
goes
know.
for
Wow.
players, this goes for offensive and defensive coordinators that specifically have people to come in to do a certain service. Um, I won't
Getting
I won't
sticky.
I won't say any names, but they're definitely still coaching today. Okay, so those boys, them NFL boys, they're wild.
You gotta tell me. I already know. I already
They
heard.
are wild. So,
I tell you,
yeah.
like, Phineas.
No, no, no.
You know why it takes me so long when I go upstairs, bro? Real shit. Because I sit down because my fat ass is tired from walking up the stairs. Nah, but for real, I mean, oh my goodness. But no, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think a lot, like, going into it, I've had started this new thing on the show where I'm gonna allow you to ask me the question. So
What's
it's
that?
your turn.
Oh, I'm
You're the
asking you
leader.
questions
Yeah.
now.
Is there something? Is there anything that you would want to know? Like, because I like to hear this from other streamers and
Right.
see how much different things come to it from each person.
Right. I mean, what ultimately made you want to get into streaming? Like you obviously know the game of Madden. Like, I like your approach to the game, and I wish I had the approach to the game of just being patient. Like you have a pretty good idea of what your opponent's doing, but you're not like y- me. I get under center, and I'm just like, okay, I really really
I'm
hope
I'm a
that
so getting
Keenan
into
Allen gets open.
so what happens is I think what happens is when, like, for streaming wise, it actually goes back to Family Man. Family Man is like one of my actual real friends in life. Um, so I was streaming on YouTube,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and like, bro, yeah, I'm having fun, but I was like, this shit's hard over here. Like, he's like, dude, you gotta get on Twitch. I'm like, Twitch? Didn't know
Mhm.
anything about Twitch. No clue. I get on Twitch, and I'm like, holy fuck, there's a lot to learn. And this
Mhm.
is before any of this stuff. Like I thought it was a lot to learn. Like I would hate to come into Twitch right now. Like, I would hate to come into streaming now because of how much in the last 2 years, how much things have changed. And
For sure.
like even with like OBS has done a complete 360 since I started. Um with everything being integrated into it, the technology that's involved in it. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's like, he was telling me, he's like, dude, he's watched me play the games. He's watched me like, dude, good at Madden. He's like, take it over there. He's like, take it to Twitch.
Right.
So I got into Twitch and I was watching. Scomo was a guy I give a lot of credit to him. I watched him for
Mhm.
almost three
Mhm.
years now,
Mhm.
and I liked what he did. And then, like I said, Family Man was pushing me. He's like, go to Twitch. I was like, all right. So I get on Twitch. It took me a while to get everything going. And I get everything going, and I got lucky. I was one of those people who got lucky. Um, I never had to stream to zero. I never streamed to five. Um, I was one of those guys that got caught. I got caught in that, like there was like a peak going on at that time, which when I came into it, because I came into it like end of November 2017,
Okay.
and kids are off from school, they're on vacation, so I got this awesome community. It was Team MZ, 3,000 people plus in this place. Chat's cracking. I'm like I'm in the wrong community. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know how to use Discord. But it was the coolest thing because this thing just revolved. Like there's constantly people talking, people who you learn different things from. Um, I learned how to use Twitch, and then I had like Big Rucci Felony Gaming that is now. He grabbed me. Had a guy named Dominator. That was the guy that at first really had me under his wing because he was doing this for. He was teaching me, and as he taught me, I'm one of the guys. You teach me something, I'm going to apply it a little bit your way, but I'm going to try to apply it my way
Right.
because I don't want it to be the same as yours. And
Right. Exactly.
when I started applying these things and I started figuring out things, I kind of jumped ahead of him, passed him in followers. I was passing him in viewage. He got mad, got jealous, disappeared, stopped helping me. He reached, stayed beside me. A couple other people stayed beside me the whole time. Drunken, he's been here. He's one of my longest subs. I think he's subbed for 21 months right
Oh wow, that's
now.
awesome.
I think the longest sub I have is my wife, rightfully so. So, but I have a couple guys that sit at 21 months. I think I have a person sitting at 22 months. Like, there's a lot of guys that have been a while, and these guys, like, I think Drunken's been streaming for, and
Mhm.
he's taught me the technology stuff, the how to set things up and how to put things together. So I had that help, but I was also into marketing. I went to college for marketing, so it made it a little bit easier. I've been very outgoing, so it came natural to me. It was I think what really got me that I was good at it,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
something that you hear it all your life, like going through football and all that. Like I was always told I was too small. You can't do this. You can't do that. Um, I was always a prover, and I've done that. Like I played college football, I played minor league football, but my real sport was baseball. I was a pitcher, and I was a left fielder. I could play third base, and threw really well. I was scouted at ACC for
Oh wow, what
champion,
school?
Maryland and Miami.
Oh nice. Yeah.
I came over the top, district championship, arm
Caillou.
arm popped by my scholarships.
Mm.
So I go into that's why people don't really know too much about it because that like baseball is my love of my life. You look in my closet, you'll be shocked. I think there may be one or two trophies. Everything else is
Mhm.
baseball. I mean, I got
Right.
loads of it, like game winning home runs, all that stuff, like loads of it. But I think what really was the great thing about it is that I was good and not great. I'm still learning. That's
Mhm.
the best part of it is when you realize you're still learning. You're not. I'm not anywhere where I want to be. really not anywhere I want to be because I have a platform in front of me, show with everything else going on. I really want the show to take off because it's spotlighting you guys. That's the whole big thing of it is you guys are new coming into it. I've been here for years, you know what I mean? I know people some people know me, you know what I mean? And if I could spotlight you
Absolutely.
to build your guys' content, that's the biggest thing I think I have in return. So I think that's the reason why I really got into streaming. I played video games all the time and good at some stuff. Like a lot of people don't know, I'm actually pretty good at CODs. Like people don't know it because I don't play
I've
it.
seen you streaming it a
But
little
when
bit more.
yeah, I'm having fun with it. Like I think it's where the game of Madden lies right now
Oh,
um
100%.
is what is turning
100%.
like I'm really bored with it. I'm not even gonna front with it. Like I'm bored with Madden because we're not getting like it's taking so long for the next promo to come and um I'm not a top tier player. I don't ever claim to be a top tier player. Do I understand football? Yes, I understand football to the max. I can teach you football inside and out all day long. I can call a coverage, I can call a play coming off, you know what I mean? And it's like I can do that all day long. That's not what sells to the Madden community. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and spend thousands of dollars, ScoMo, CC, them
Right.
guys, and just
Yeah.
rip a massive amount of packs. I'm not in that position because they make their money back on it, however they do it. I haven't got the full insight on how they make money back on that stuff, or I know it becomes write offs and all that stuff. I haven't got that far into it,
Right. Right.
but I mean, one of those things is like I know I have to make a move somewhere, and
Mhm.
I don't know where that move is going to be. I've really been debating role play because I think I could have a hell of a fun time with it, like doing like GTA role play. I was gonna be the busted up has been NFL player because they don't have a lot of sports guys that do this stuff. And
Right.
my buddy he's gonna be my agent. He's actually partnered inside of he inside the No Pixel um role play, which is the biggest server is for role play. It's hard to get into, but I'm just hoping he might do his due diligence, get me in, uh, get in there, and then he can be my agent, and I'll be the has-been.
Love to see that. I think that would be pretty stinking hilarious, honestly.
And like like, it's just something I also look at it as that because of that doesn't go up and down, you know what I mean? Like it's not
Right.
like, oh, this season comes in and then the season then next season comes in and it goes back up. And I think I don't like I said, I don't run with clicks. I'm not a clicky person. And there's clicks inside the community. And there's groups. The Cubs
I'm answering Organic's question.
has a bat he has basketball.
Oh, I'm sorry, I read that as baseball. Funny story, Sacramento Kings.
Like the old
I know that
Sacramento Kings? You're talking like
like the current Sacramento
oh
Kings, and reason
God.
being is because, 2 years ago now?
I thought you were
Yeah, it
talking
was
Chris
2.
Webber.
No, I didn't follow them then. This is, like, recent. This is, like, super recent. This is, like, 2 years ago. I was in Sacramento for, a conference, a web conference, and, my mom actually came with me on that trip. And, I think the conference was winding down. It might have been, like, our last yeah, I think it was, like, our last night in Sacramento, and, we got tickets to, the game. I think it was, like, I think the NBA season had just started. Oh my gosh, that place, like, the game day experience that they provided in that place was just so freaking amazing. Like, there's just so much purple, so much
Mike
like,
Bibby. Oh my god, what a
they
name.
really right? Right? They really like, the game day experience that I had when I was there was just so incredible,
Mike
and,
Bibby
like,
was a
just
monster point guard. Underrated.
so, yeah, I was just like, "Hey, I think" I mean, I really didn't have an NBA team that I followed. I mean, I'm more of a bandwagoner when it comes to the NBA. Like,
Yeah.
I am not
I'm a
a
Bulls
I'll
fan.
say this, I will say this without any hesitation. I am not a LeBron James fan. Yeah, I'm from Ohio. Yeah, I live in Ohio.
Smoke.
I was never a diehard Cleveland fan. I'm
You
not a Lakers
smoke.
fan, I'm not a
Okay,
Heat
so
fan. I did
get
like
into
the
that
run that
one.
the Golden State Warriors went on with,
So to get into that right there, that brings up a good one. Do you agree with how LeBron did his thing? Comes in, wins a championship, and dips.
that's ultimately what he was brought there to do. I mean, even
I mean, I'm
before
just
he
saying,
came
as a
back, like,
Cleveland
even when
person, did that like did it get under your skin that he left after he won, or
well, I'm not a LeBron fan, so absolutely it did not get under my skin, but I saw it coming. I mean, LeBron James, it's just a different kind of basketball than it was when, during the Jordan era. Like Jordan, it was never a thought for him to play anywhere else other than Chicago. Prior to LeBron, even when he got out of high school and before he was drafted by Cleveland, Cleveland was sorry. Like they had nothing. And I think that I will give him his due diligence in that those 7 years that he was there, he gave it his all. He really did. He gave it his all, but, when you are the only star player on that team and they are not putting pieces, I mean, you know how it works. When
yeah?
when the pieces aren't put around you in order to be able to be successful and all the work isn't entirely on you, then yeah, you're gonna get tired. I mean, not the great Barry Sanders. They put no pieces around Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders should have a Super Bowl ring, but they put no pieces around him. But just going back to LeBron, I mean, I understand why he left. I mean, he said it's 7 years. I'm not going to win a championship ring with what I have. But at the same time, it's not surprising because that's who LeBron is. LeBron, he's not built for my time will come when my time will come. LeBron has always been put on a pedestal from the very beginning. And granted, he's talented. He's one of the greatest players in the world. I will give him that. I respect him enough to give him that
Is he better than Michael
that
Jordan?
credit where it's due, right? But
Is he
I
better than
mean,
Michael Jordan?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just a different he's a different kind of talent. He's a different
See,
kind of talent.
the way I always broke this question down to people when they ask this question, LeBron James is the GOAT of his era. Michael
Right.
Jordan, the GOAT of his era.
Mhm.
Different playing styles than these guys played. Just like Kobe, he's the GOAT of his era.
Oh gosh, what was it? It might have been Hard Knocks when they did Hard Knocks in Cleveland, and one of the players, he put it perfectly. They said that
Basketball is different nowadays,
they
man.
said they said that Michael Jordan is the Michael Jackson of music, Kobe is Usher, and LeBron James is Chris Brown. Like like it's perfect.
So, like, I look at it this way: is the way basketball was back in the day, right? So, back in the day, you have think about it. Think this is how you're gonna look at it. A lot of you young kids don't understand the '90s, right? The '90s in basketball. We're gonna get into this with Lauren, but she's a sports person, so we can do this.
Yeah, we can do this.
In the '90s, right? There wasn't just one fucking team that was dominant. There was the whole NBA. You had the Seattle Sonics, the Supersonics.
Utah Jazz.
Who is that? Who's the Seattle Supers? They don't exist no more. But I tell you what, when they had Gary Payton and they had Sean Kemp, they existed.
Mhm.
You had you had her
Detroit
team. You had
Pistons.
her new. You have her team that she likes with the Kings, right? Is it the
Mhm.
Kings? Yeah, the Kings. They had Chris Webber.
Yep.
They had Mike
Rockets,
Bibby.
Celtics.
You had the Lakers that were good. You had the Utah Jazz that were good. You had the Rockets. Like it wasn't just one team,
Right. Right. It
right?
wasn't. It
It
really wasn't.
wasn't one team. Any of those teams could come into your house and beat your face right to the ground. Like that's what I loved about the '90s. That's why I always argue. Like nowadays, they have to beat one or two teams in the NBA to be a champion. When Michael Jordan, all them guys played, they had to beat multiple teams. It wasn't
Yeah.
one, two, three. It was like 7, 8, 9 teams or more. They all
Mhm.
had
It's a lot.
a one or two, and then they had the rest of them. The other three filling their roles, playing their roles. I mean, look at the Bulls. The Bulls didn't have a bunch of superstars. Yes, they had Michael Jordan. And yes, they had Scottie Pippen. But they had B.J. Armstrong. They had a Luke Longley. They had a Tony Kukoc. They had a Steve Kerr. Them guys all played a specific role. They weren't superstars. Horace
Hmm.
Grant was another guy in the middle, but they played roles.
And
Each team,
everyone knew what their role was.
yeah, like
There was
each
no
team in the
confusion. No
NBA
one got
was a
anything
1 and 2.
twisted.
Yeah, I mean each team really when you look at the NBA back in the 90s, you had a 1 and 2 top. You had what? You had let's see. So on the Jazz, you had your my mind's going blank now. You had what's it? John Stockton, Karl Malone.
Oh yeah.
There's your one
Yep.
and two. Go to Seattle. Your 1 and 2 is Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. Then you go out to the Rockets. Who was their point guard at that time? Oh, was it Steve? What was Steve's name? Somebody give me the point guard's name from the Rockets back in the day.
I can't think.
Oh my God. No, not Kenny Smith. Was it Kenny Smith? Francis. You had Steve Francis at one point. And you had Team Ijuan. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? You had there's your 1 and 2. Like every team had a 1 and 2 and a bunch of people around them. That's why the NBA was so great back then. And they weren't pussies back then like they are now. Like LeBron, I give LeBron this credit because LeBron's done some amazing things in the NBA. But he's a pussy. Because he's afraid he goes in, he's 270 some pounds, 6'6" or whatever he is, and can't bang in the inside. Like he don't want to bang around because he's afraid to get fouled or he flops. You didn't see that shit back then. You know what happened? You did that, you get punched in the face right on the spot. Dennis Rodman headbutt your ass. You know what I mean? Like honestly, like if you think about it, like look at Rodman. You do that dumb shit to Rodman, he's headbutting you. If you don't touch you and you
I mean,
flop in front of him,
he was a different kind of mold.
I'm
Like
telling you,
that's
he's headbutting the fuck out of you,
he
just like
was a
he did the
different kind of
ref.
mold.
Like he headbutted the ref. He walked straight to the ref. Bang!
Yeah,
Like
he was
I'm telling
different.
you, look at Ron Artest. Y'all forgot about that man. He'll go in the stand and whoop your ass.
Meta world peace.
You don't see that no more. You don't see that in the game no more. Like these guys played the game to win championship. They
Yeah.
didn't make nowhere near the money these guys make now. These guys now are pussy, baby-fied, money-hungry people. They forgot how to play the game. Ron Artest is a mon like you didn't see them guys. They would punch each other straight in the jaw right on the court. You know what I mean? Like you don't see that. Just like football. Do I think like a lot of these guys are way better athletes than a lot of guys back in the day? Yeah. But I guarantee they can't take the hits that them guys took back there. Them dudes got hit in the mouth,
Oh yeah.
teeth would
Oh
pop
yeah.
out, and they'd spit the shit to the ground and keep playing.
Yep. I mean,
Nose,
even
tongue would stick out their nose, keep playing.
even with training camp, like, I remember 2 days. You you practice in the morning and you practice at night.
Don't get me started on that because
That's
they changed
unheard
that
of.
rule with they even did that in high school. High school, you have a week to get acclimated now. You have an acclimation week. I'm like, bro, if I had an acclimation week, bro, like I would have been like, really? And you want,
Acclimation week?
bro? I swear to God, they give that to you. Do they give it? Do they still give that in high school now?
I see. I got out of high school in '02.
Bro,
So,
look at my fingers. I'm not gonna lie. Look how crooked all my fingers are. My fingers are crooked as shit from football. Like this one, where's it at? Which one is it? This one right here. It's stuck like that. It shit don't go straight. I can't straighten that shit out. That's broke because of a football helmet. My finger went in a bull ring. The kid snapped it. You know what I did? Walked to the sideline. Said, "Tape it up. Tape it up." My bag of the game. Like they're not built like that no more. See, look. He said we have a week of conditioning without pads. That's it. A week of conditioning. They get a week of conditioning to get acclimated to the weather.
I guess the game has become quote unquote soft because um the NFL, they can't, people just don't want to be sued no more. people just don't want, retired
Bunch of
players coming
pussies out
after
here.
them saying, "Hey, I've got dementia or I think I've got CTE or I'm just,
But in
I've
in
got
the
all
same
these
aspect of
issues
all
that
that,
stems
though,
from playing football."
but in the same aspect, that's on you to take care of yourself too. If you know your head's done
But
and you
but
got rung,
they don't.
but that's their
They
fault.
don't.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, I've done it myself where I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm good. My head's ringing. My head's ringing. My eyes are blurry. And it's the mentality. I get it, it's the mentality of it. But nowadays, like, these players, like, it goes like the RG3. You look at RG3, plays in the game in Seattle. They know his knee is fucked up. He already got a brace on it. He's a player telling a coach that he's not coming out of the game, right? That's like right there. That is on him. The
Yeah.
coaches. This is on the coaches, and this is on the owner too, because the owner made him think he's more powerful than the team. That guy, like, honestly, who had like they gave Mike Shanahan all the shit in the all the shit in the world for this, and I always defended it. Always defended Mike Shanahan because I heard the inside stuff. Um, I got I got friends that um play that played for the Skins. A couple of them were in training camps and whatnot. We're still on the team time, and they said he was so big, so much bigger than the team that nobody can tell him what to do. He chose to go in the
Shanahan?
game. No, not Shanahan. RG3, and
Oh
RG3
god.
went into the game, and now you see where he's at. He's not a superstar.
But see, for me, that just comes back to home training. It really does. I think what happens is these kids or these guys from a very very young age have been put on a pedestal from your LeBron James, from your Jameis Winstons, from your RG3s. They get told at a very very young age. They just get filled with confetti at a very very young age of how fantastical they are. And as they grow up and as they continue to you know get better and to advance and to mold their craft, they just they feed into that. They feed into that. They want for nothing. They ultimately end up wanting for nothing. So in some regard is maddening as it makes me when I see the demeanor of players that feel as if they are the second coming. To me, it's like, well, what else did you expect? Like what? This is the end result. This is the end result. It's like it's so simple. It's like when you tell someone for all their life or for however long that you know uh you can close this door, right? You can close this door. Just you can close it. You can close it. For years you've been able to close this freaking door. You've been able to close it, and then one day out of nowhere, that same person that told you that you cannot, or anybody for that matter, that they tell you, you know what, you can't close this door anymore. Well, what do you think that does to their mentality? They're saying to themselves, what are you talking about? I can't close this door. I've been closing this door for 15, 25, 30 years. And now you're telling me that I can't? Now you're telling me it's a problem? Well, why is it why? It wasn't a problem then. So why is it a problem now? So for me, it just stems from upbringing. It stems from, really just home training and surrounding yourself with people that will bring you back down to reality.
I mean, it does get like that, and that's one thing is like I think that's why I kind of lost a lot of love inside of football anymore. Like watching it is because it's so money driven, and like,
100%.
but I get it. I get it too. I get it from the player standpoint too, because it's not like it used to be back in the day where there was a lot of loyalty to a player. Now it don't matter who you are; you can be traded for whatever. They think they can get something better. They're
Yes.
getting rid of you, and I think that's why these guys are so adamant to get their money because their careers can end so much quicker. I think
I'll
nowadays.
be honest, I side with the players when it comes to that. I mean, you hear the riffs of "Oh my gosh, he's so ungrateful. He's making all this money. He's doing that." And the other." At the end of the day, at any point in time, that owner that is going to continue to sit on his yacht, his $20 million yacht,
Here
okay?
comes the
He had a
Cowboys.
$20 million yacht 20 years ago. He's gonna have a $20 million yacht 20 years from now. Okay. At the end of the day, if they make a decision to move on, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't blame these players for holding out. I now granted,
I mean, I don't think that,
for case
I
in
think there
point, the
should be.
Le'Veon Bell situation, right? Like I didn't really agree with his holdout because he had some years on him, right? Like he had some wear and tear. So from that standpoint, I said to myself, no, he doesn't deserve all of this money because literally for the past 2 seasons he was hurt. He was hurt and like you just, you couldn't trust that, right? So in a situation like that, like I'm like, yeah, you've been out here for a while. I mean, yeah, you want this money, but we don't really know what we're gonna get, right? But for these young guns, I mean, what was it I saw today? I mean, I didn't take the time to read the story, but and we can talk about this too. Dak allegedly being offered the highest quarterback contract in NFL history, and he turned it down. Do you have any insight on that? Like, I don't.
I didn't read it, but I've known he's had some pretty nice offers and turned them down. I mean, I think there's just I think there's greed to it. There's there's a push from agent herself. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, if you want to look at it, it's like, yeah, he said
The
you heard it was
Organic said that
offered
he was
5 years, 175 million. Like how
175 million.
do you not
So
like
if they weren't offering him 40 million a year, what were they offering him? Oh,
36?
36.
So 4 million under what he's asking. Like I mean, like for a player to turn that type of money down, I think you got to be like
I would agree.
there's a lot. I would think that is more of a greed thing to me. I think there's a lot
100%.
like for a fact now. Like honestly, if I was the owner and I offered that type of money to my quarterback, my quarterback
Mhm.
of my damn team turns 36 million down. I know for a fact that he's not there to play for the championship. He's there to get money. And that's it. So his mentality is not like his mentality is not going to be the same as somebody that wants a championship. His mentality is different. Going to be a different mind. It's not going to be like a Kobe Bryant mind, a Michael Jordan mind. They knew by playing they were going to get money. I mean, Michael Jordan, biggest sponsorship ever Nike has had. Nobody will ever be bigger than Michael Jordan and Nike. You know what I mean? Jordan
Mhm.
has his own brand inside Nike. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who there's you like common sense. Play your damn game and prove you're worth that type of money, and it happens.
Right.
And it's like Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant, same thing. Kobe Kobe's retired, still was making money, still had shoes coming out for Nike, and
That's
that's
what
because
makes
he
this
played his
that's what makes
ass
this
off.
even more that's what makes this even more confusing to me because okay, you were willing to play an entire NFL season under the current contract that you had. Clearly you had revenue coming in from other places. So with that being said, why is this still not enough? Why is $36 million a year still not enough for you when this isn't your only source of income,
Because
you know? And
his mentality is not meant for championship. His
yeah,
mentality is
not at
get
all.
paid. I get hurt, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
I have to admit, I liked Dak. I thought that Dak was owed his due diligence,
I've never
in
been a
terms of
Dak fan.
well,
Never
I
been a
know
Dak
why you're
guy.
not a Dak
It
fan.
has nothing to do with being a
You don't have
Redskins.
to.
Nothing to do with being a Redskins fan. I just didn't like Dak's mentality. As I like, it's kind of like Odell Beckham Jr. They get stardom so fast, and I don't think they know how to bring it in and harness it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
And then they start thinking they get above the team a little bit, and then they start acting out and start doing crazy nonsense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You got what was it in the Giants when he played for the Giants? He's kicking field goal thing, like he's kicking nets around the field and stuff. Like, no, get it. You play the game. You have passion for the game, but you also have to conduct yourself. And like I think they just get in these funks. Like the big players, the ones you really see prosper and make living from what they do, are the guys that really put in the effort and the work in. They come into work, they bust their ass, and they're not. They know if they play good, they're getting paid. It's kind of like Trent Williams. Like Trent Williams, dumbest movie he made. He lost millions in the last 2 seasons because he decides to sit out. Goes and sits out because he has problems with all talent, the training staff, all that stuff. So sits out. He decides he comes back to try to get a season in. Doesn't get that because it's put on this other thing that they have. I can't remember what it's called. Bruce Allen sits him down for a year. They ended up removing everything that he wanted. This is how you know this guy became about money. It wasn't about playing football no more. Goes out, they clear everything out. So they get rid of everything, they make it everything perfect. Guy still wants stupid amount of money to play
Because
for the
at that
Redskins.
point he said, "Okay, so you guys are playing my little game. Now that I see you're willing to do this, let's just see how much more you're willing to do." And then that's when things get a little out of control.
Well,
That's
that's why
when
he's
they're
not with the
like,
Redskins no more.
right, exactly. Exactly.
And I mean, did
You
they?
were already pushing the envelope and asking what you were asking for, and then when
I
you got it
mean,
and you still want to ask for more stuff? No.
like it shows you that you're not there to play football. It does. It shows.
I think
And
there's a fine line in between
I
wanting
understand.
to.
I understand like where he's at because this is going to be his last contract. Wherever he gets the contract at, if it's with the 49ers, or his last contract. And I understand he's trying to get paid, get that one more big chunk of security. But the best thing he could have did, play. He plays
Right.
that 1 year, proves he can that he's still a top tier guy. Redskins pay him. We all know how dumb they are. We know how they throw money around. Like it's not a secret. I mean, they paid
Right.
Landon Collins $60 million, $60 million for a safety. You know what I mean? Like it's the dumbness.
Crazy.
It's like it's mental. These guys is like play the game and bust your ass that season. And I think what it is I think Trent knows he's been hurt the last couple seasons. I don't think he's played a season since 2016, 2015. And I think that's his biggest thing. He's afraid to play, get hurt, and not be paid. And I really think wherever he goes, I don't think he's going to get a contract. I really don't think 49ers give him a big contract.
Mhm.
I don't see it. He's 32 years old and hasn't played what a year and a half now.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, because it would be 2 years coming up this season,
Yep.
and who knows what we got. But if you guys don't have any more questions for Lauren, I'm gonna let her get out of here. We're gonna end this, and then we're probably gonna get into some.
Awesome.
Any more
Awesome. Awesome.
questions? Any more questions? I want
Any
game.
more questions? I'm here for it.
Where gamepad? I know. I know he has something for you.
If not, I can heckle him tomorrow.
I like
Of
messing.
course,
I
of
like
course.
getting him more up.
Happy to have conducted this interview with you, and thank you for asking me to be a part of this interview. And I
This is
just
this is actually a really
can't.
fun one because this is the first time I think we went into like a different like topic.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a big difference.
Well,
But that's
again,
why I
I
want to go
can't.
podcast, dude. I want to podcast it so that it doesn't really matter. We can just sit here and just go.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it's like so much like
Exactly.
when you put these on, they are long. Some of them are long. Like I've had them at an hour. I've had them at 2 hours. Like this, hour and 50 minutes. So
Mhm.
they they don't tend to get seen a lot, and they don't tend to get watched a lot unless I edit them down. But it
Right.
feels like if I
Right.
edit it down, there's just something I'm editing it out that should be there and shouldn't be there.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get it.
I just don't know what to do.
Totally get it. Well, again, I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank this community enough for embracing me at a time in which I just the timing was great. The timing was great. I mean, I've just, for me, I want to be able to take, my story and share my story with other people. And if you are dealing with something, number one, it's okay to talk about it. Don't ever feel like you have to hold whatever it is that you are dealing with. And 10 times out of 10, whether people acknowledge it or not, or say or not, everyone is dealing with something. And yeah, I want to be able to take my situation and my story as like encouragement, in that, be yourself. um you know find your niche, find a community that embraces you, and flourish. So,
Good to me. You have anybody? I don't know if you have anybody you want to shout out, but you can shout away if you want to shout out. Lauren's link will also, all of her links will be in the description of the video. Twitter, her Instagram, her YouTube. That there's nothing there, but we'll put it there.
that's gonna change
So we
after
have,
after this talk tonight. That's gonna change. So
we will have all her links there, so you can find her, follow her, watch her, all that good stuff. Yeah, Shrades came out of nowhere.
I know Shrazy just gets here, and now we're concluding the interview. So,
But again, I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to come
of
and have
course,
some fun. And like I said,
thank you for having me.
keep doing what you're doing.
For
Doing great.
sure. More than likely, I'll be streaming tomorrow, so more than likely we'll be discording it up again. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Guys, make sure you guys do check out all of her links in the description when I post the video. Video will be live tomorrow. Unless I can get it rendered up tonight, but who knows with the way my PC's been acting. It's been a little funky on me. I think it's telling me that it's mad because I'm getting a new
No, it's
motherboard. So I
really
think that
mad.
motherboard is mad at me. It's in there because it's been doing some stuff. Like I was sitting here right before we got started, like my screen went black and it took my background away. I
I
had to
can tell
restart
you
the
this: if
computer.
the motherboard is fried, everything is
It's not
done.
fried. I
Nothing
think it's
will.
just mad. I think it's just mad at me. It knows it's getting
Yeah.
replaced, acting like a female.
Oh, geez. As an emotional.
Yeah, an emotional
Yeah.
female. It's that time of the month. It needs its chocolate.
Oh my gosh, you went there. That time of the month. Oh man.
That time of the month, it needs its chocolate. It needs its blanket. It needs its
Yep.
lifetime.
Cranberry juice.
It needs
Mm-hmm.
its lifetime. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Like this thing, it locked up my mic. It locked up the mic app, so I couldn't open up the G Hub. I
Mm.
had to uninstall it, reinstall it. Like I was sitting here telling Lauren, hold it. I'm like, Lauren, this thing is acting funky. She's like, are you gonna be able to go? I was like, I think so.
Yeah, I was like, when all else fails, restart.
And then I was like, I got was it? And then recording it. I was recording it. I thought I was recording a video trying to like just vote this. Like I go back and watch it, and the damn thing's like hiccuping the whole time. I'm like, did that go through there? And I go and look, and it's not. And I'm like, figure out the app is all messed up. So I'm just like, man,
All kinds of itches.
I'm telling you, because it knows it's getting replaced tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Wow.
I won't be. I probably. I don't know if I'll be on stream. About that, yeah, because I got a cookout Sunday, so I have to cooking. We're having a cookout Sunday
Nice.
because we all had. I think we've all had
Oh,
enough
that's
of being
right.
in there.
Man, I've just been so consumed, completely forgot that the holiday was on Monday.
I'm not even worried about the holiday. I'm just like I want to. I need friends. I need like outside.
Right.
So family man, his family's coming over. We're gonna have a cookout. Hey, if you want to
Oh.
drive up here, you're more than welcome. Trust me. Family
Oh
man,
wow.
tell you. Family man, will tell you. I don't care how many people show up. I've had, they. He's gotten used to it. He's not a big gathering person, and he's got used to it. Because when I throw down and I have any type of thing at my house, we got 30 plus people.
Wow.
Easy,
Shoot.
easy. I throw down for everybody. Like I throw the grill, I'll get the grill going. I'll get everything cooking. I
Shoot.
don't play.
Party at Smeens.
We do it
He
up.
said, "I don't
Fourth of
play."
July. 4th of July. We do it big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
4th of July. We
Yeah.
do it pretty big. We do it we get fireworks and all types of stuff. Start at like 1 in the afternoon and it goes till when everybody's too drunk or they're tired. Like we get it ripping. We
Sounds like a
have
lot of
we have drunk people light fireworks off, but
Oh man. Well, thank you again.
no
And
problem.
yeah, I really appreciate being a part of this and really engaging with the chat and answering all their questions and, chat if there's any questions that you didn't get to answer or didn't get to ask
Yes.
tonight,
If
I
there
will
are
be around,
questions,
so
leave them in the comments of the video when it gets.
for sure.
If you have questions, that's another thing I want to get going. You guys have questions that you didn't get to ask because you missed the show. Ask them in the comments on the video. I'm telling you guys, I wish I could make these things shorter, but I feel as you miss out on a lot of who they are. Like I'm not gonna stop it if there's a continuous flow and you're learning so much about that person and this is getting her seen or whoever else is on here. I'm not stopping it. I'm not gonna stop the conversation. Really not. And I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna let you get the real rawness of it. Like if she breaks down, starts crying, you're getting it. If I break down and cry, you're getting it. Like
Hey,
I
I
think
was
it's.
pretty close. I was
I know.
pretty close talking about my grandma.
I watched you swallow a couple times. Dude. I'm telling you, I'm a super, super, super observant person. Like I know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Intuitive.
I read,
Very much.
I read body language very well. And like
Yeah.
I said, guys, that is a big thing. I would love for you guys to interact on uh, these videos on YouTube because it's gonna go a long way for me, myself. It's gonna go a long way for the person on there because it's gonna get them a little bit more attention. Um, I don't want to like post them and they sit there and nobody looks at them. Like we've had the lowest viewage so far on the last one with Nick. And Nick is like huge with EA, and I'm just like, like it hurt me because everybody else is sitting in 40s, 60s, and not there.
Yeah, YouTube, it's a big pond.
Like I said, guys, got something for Lauren. The video will be up tomorrow. Leave it in the comments. She'll be able to see them, all that good stuff. Because I should be able to tag her from there, so I can
Yeah,
tag her
tag
in.
away.
I can tag her in the video also, and she'll be able to see comments and whatnot if you guys have questions. Yeah, you can't forget that stuff. But we're gonna get out of here. Till next time, guys. Peace.